Station number 1 is the Ninja Turtle Pizza Box Relay. The first team finished wins this event, so please make sure the teams are even. If there's an uneven amount on one team, then some students need to go more than once to make it equal. For instance, if one team had 10 students and the other team had 11, then the team with 10, one person on that team would have to go twice. Then they both would have 11 basically. This is an example of what the pizza box relay will look like. The students must balance the pizza box on one of their hands. In the real event, they will have to jump over hurdles and weave through cones. This was just to show you what it would look like. Station 2 is that Black Panther obstacle course. Just like in the first game, the teams must be even. So some teams may have students going more than once to make sure they're even. This year, we'll be running the obstacle course in the direction that you see. I wanted to show you what the gym would look like this year. Both teams have their own exit door at the end of the game to make it a little easier. The team on the left will exit to the left and the team on the right will exit to the right. The next game for K through 2 is the Arrow Target Knockdown. It is a timed game. Every time all the animals are knocked off the table, their team will get a point. All the animals must be picked back up before they try to get another point. This is what the game was supposed to look like. However, we will not be using the bow and arrow. They were going to get 2 tries, but it was hard for them to use when I was watching them practice. In addition, some students broke our arrows. So we will be using a water launcher instead. The students will dip the water launcher in the bucket and walk over to the table, stand at their line, and try to knock down the animals. In this game, once again, every time the animals are knocked down, they must be picked back up for them to try to get another point.
There, good.
Station 3 for grades 3 through 5 is the Green Lantern Water Cup Relay. This is a timed game. Every time their cup makes it to the end of the pole, basically to their target, their team will get a point. If you take a look, we have a student dipping the water gun in the bucket. We didn't really have any water, so this was kind of hard to act out, but he's going to get 1 full load of water. Then he's going to go close to the cup and try to make it move with that water. Now, he only gets 1 turn, so this was incorrect. Once again, it was hard to show this game without really using water. This student is showing you what the cup would do if he actually really used water to make it move. Then he gives the gun to the next student. The student fills it up. The student needs to get as close to the cup as possible to make it move. And once again, you only get 1 push to completely unload the gun. And there goes the student again showing what the cup would do. When your turn is over, give it to the next student. Next student, load it up. Get as close to the cup as possible to try to make it move. And once again, every time it gets to the end of the pole, their team will get a point. Before they can try to get another point, someone must bring the cup all the way back. Station 4 is the Superman Kryptonite Cleanup. This is a timed event. The team with the most Kryptonite in the container at the end wins.
Yeah.
The students will have to remove 1 shoe and sock. Run over to their Kryptonite container, like this student is doing.
It's hard to get it, isn't it?
Try to grab the Kryptonite with your toes, with your feet.
It's easier in water.
Try to only grab 1. If you grab 2, that's okay.
That's okay. Bring it back.
You can only put 1 in the container. Now, this one fell from his foot. He has to leave it. You can only bring 1 at a time to the container.
And then put it in there.
When you get to your container, drop it off.
All right.
Next student
Your
may
turn.
go.
You run there. Good.
Run to the container, put your foot in.
You got it? Good.
Now, if you drop it like he did, you have to go back. You have to hold it all the way from the container to the other
There'll be
container.
water. It'll be a little easier with water.
Once again, the team with the most Kryptonite in their container at the start is the winning team. They get a point.
Good job.
Station 5 is the Aquaman Relay. This is another timed event, and the team with the most water in their container at the end will be the winning team. We actually will measure the water at the very end. As you see, we actually do have the measuring sticks. The teams will be lined up. There's a bucket in the front and a bucket at the end where the water will go. Now, you do not want to squeeze the sponge. You want to have as much water in it as possible so you can have the most in the bucket at the end. This is an over-under relay, so students must go under and then over. Follow the pattern. Under, over. Continue until the very last person at the end of the team has it. The last person in their team will actually squeeze it out in their bucket. That's why you don't want to squeeze it over your head as you're doing the relay. After they squeeze it out, they're going to start the competition back over. They're going to dip it, get it full of water, and there we go. Over, under, over, under. Another key thing about this event is water over your head in any capacity. We measure the water at the end, and if the hose is not too close to our event, we reuse the water. Carrying the buckets of water is actually pretty heavy and not fun, so please, once again, do not dump the buckets of water on yourselves or anyone else at the very end of the event.
Now dip it in there to start.
Try to run fast to get it started again, and try to pay attention so you don't hurt your team. The next event, event 6, is the Ironman sponge launch. This is also a timed event. The team with the most water in their container at the end is the winning team. You will have a container that we measure again, just like you did in the Aquaman Relay. There it is. There's your container. The team that has the most, the largest amount, is the winning team. Now in this, 3 people at a time in a class will be the launchers. The rest of the class, I know there's only one person there, but the rest of the class will be in the field, in the other area. This was just my example. In this event, like I said, 3 people will start out. They'll dip the sponge, they'll put it in the launcher, and they'll try to get it as close to their class in the field as possible.
Squeeze it in there,
their classmates will run, squeeze it out of the container that's going to get measured, and bring it back to the start. Those same 3 students will continue to launch, and the same students in the field will continue to squeeze it out. Station 7 is the Batman and Catwoman Watch Your Step. This is the event I think they're most excited about. This is the game where I will need the most help, as each student needs one balloon tied to the ankle of their choice. The balloon must be at their ankle and not close to their knee. It needs to be at their ankle. The object of this game is to pop the other team's balloons by stomping on them. The boundary area in this game, they were supposed to stay within the circle. They were a little unclear of the direction, but once I told them, hey, you have to stay inside the circle, they kind of understood. When we play out on the field, I will have a certain boundary area, and if the student gets out of the area, they are out. The student is also out if their balloon gets popped. Now, once again, you're trying to pop the other team's balloons without getting yours popped. In this version right here, I let the students that had their balloons popped stay in the game, and I tried to make it go a little faster by adding students. But in the real game, if your balloon gets popped, you're out. You have to go outside of the boundary area and watch. The team with the most balloons at the end is the winning team. Or if your team pops all the other team's balloons, then your team wins. Oh, he would have been out. He would actually have to sit and watch the game from the boundary area, outside the boundary lines. All right, we have 2 students left in the game, 1 from each team. There are additional students within the boundary area, but once again, if their balloon is popped, they will be outside. And he got himself a win. Station 8 is the Black Widow slide and toss. This is a timed event, and the team with the most points at the end wins. In this event, students start out, they must one at a time go down the slip and slide, then they go to the frisbee area, and they have 3 chances to make a point. Every time their frisbee goes through the target, like the one on the left, the big circle, they get a point. There'll be 3 frisbees there. This student had more frisbees to throw, but you see he's practicing for this event. Every time it goes through that circle, they get a point. After they've thrown their 3 frisbees, they will go to the back of their line, and the next person on the team will go. Station 9 for K-2. The first team finished will win. The teams once again must be evened out. Some people may have to go more than once.
Go! You do not
If you
go
take
to
a
the
look,
next person,
one
line goes.
person at a time goes from the team.
Around the cone.
They go around their area,
Now,
their
as soon as they
cone.
get back, Tiana, go.
As soon as they get back to their cone, the next
Put it
person
back on,
goes.
Giovanni. Go one more
The
time
next
for me.
person that's waiting in line needs to go ahead and get the
Giovanni, go
sack
one more
on.
time. Put it on.
Put it on and get ready. This is actually hard, that's why
Next
they
person
practice
in line,
this.
go. This will be the last one. Last group. No,
You may
keep
slide,
going.
you may
Back,
fall
back.
down,
Keep
just
going.
try to jump and
Keep
pull the
going.
sack
No,
up
we'll
at the
be
same
done.
time. The team that finishes first is the
Go,
winning
Kayla.
team. They will get a point.
Pull it with you. There you go.
Station 9 for grades 3 through 5 is that Spider-Man versus Hulk tug of war. We will start out with the class versus class competition. If time permits, we'll do the boys versus boys, the girls in one class versus the other girls, and then just for fun, we may just do boys versus girls. This is just an example of what we're going to do during the tug of war. I haven't decided if I want to put the pool out again. If so, I will have a tarp underneath it so the water will not get dirty. Please, if I get a pool out, you do not just run and jump in the pool like she was about to do. Okay? It's only for if you get pulled in. I don't want to see you trying to play in the pool. Field day is going to be so much fun. I need every student to be kind, responsible, and safe. Remember to bring your materials. You will need that extra set of clothes, a towel, maybe a hat, sunscreen, sunglasses. But remember, those are your items. You must keep up with them. One last reminder is that field day is just for fun. I need you to show good sportsmanship. At each station, you can earn 1 sportsmanship point if you show a good job of sportsmanship. Field day, here we come.